Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak, and I will always get back up.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone Messiah, Phillip Brandon, joined by the Canadian Destroyer, BT, Brandon Tanguma. We are back. We are here to recap the week that was in pro wrestling, sports entertainment. What's going on, man?
Phillip, we're here. It's our flu game episode because both of us are sick. I was sick 2 weeks ago, and I was just starting to feel better, but then I got sick again with a different type. It's a whole thing. I don't know what's going on with me. I think the Nike San Leandro store, there's poison inside there.
This isn't a flu game episode for me. I'm just I may lose my smile because my back hurt.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So you just reaching that little pixie dust you got in your fanny pack, everything feels better.
Speaking of fanny pack, saw the hardcore legend last night, Mick Foley.
There you go. How was it?
It was great, man. Shout out Mick Foley. Told some stories. Obviously, talked about the cell. That's all people ever want to talk about. Talked about Sabu. Talked about Triple H, and just gave some real insight. As what heels can do to make their baby faces look even better. Just really really good stuff, man. Shout out to Mick Foley. It's always a good time. The people that were talking during his set, and you guys can bugger off. Yeah,
people trying to get themselves over.
Yeah, just people just talking. I'm like, guys, just shut up and listen to the man. Is that so hard? People recording when they told them not to record nothing. Like, come on, guys, just listen to the rules. It's not that hard. It's really not. AEW re-signs Willow Nightingale, huh?
Yep. Word came out earlier last week, that this is her contract year, so speculation was running up rampant on what the future held for Willow Nightingale. But after just a short amount of time, she re-signs with the company, which, good move on AEW's part. I think Willow Nightingale is super talented, and she's had her moments, but she's never really had that time to be the woman in the company. I don't think she's too damaged, and she has a type of bubbly, lovable character to where she can take losses and she can always bounce back. So
yeah,
hopefully now that the contract stuff's situated, the Mariah May stuff, who knows what's going to go on with her contract? But Willow, I think she could be the future for AEW.
I look at it, and Willow, she won the New Japan Women's Champion, or the Women's Strong title, because Mercedes got hurt in that match. I felt like that was supposed to be the step in the right direction to kind of elevate her, and nothing really ever came of that.
Yeah, she's been a part of stuff. She's had storylines. She had the Chris Statlander stuff and other things.
Yeah, didn't I just see her? Didn't she get DDT'd by Jon Moxley 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, and she's going to be a part of, spoiler alert for the AEW preview or recap.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be a part of the Anarchy in the Arena, so first time a woman is involved, so her and Marina Shafir are going to, pair off and do whatever they're going to do. So, she is involved in things, but she's never really the focal point in the women's division. She's always kind of the secondary or third women's feud going on.
We need to fix that. We need to rectify that. Good old JR announces he has colon cancer. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this one was kind of late breaking news. He literally just tweeted it 15 minutes before we started recording. So he announced that he had colon cancer. Unfortunately, JR's had a litany of health issues, and this is just kind of the latest one. So he said he's going to have surgery, maybe 2 in the near future. So, T's and P's to JR. Hopefully he kicks out of this one because he keeps kicking out.
Yeah, saw him at WrestleCon. He's not really walking around anymore. He's in a wheelchair. So prayers up to good old JR, man. Yeah. Is he still been on TV?
He was I believe he was on the last AEW pay-per-view. They do use him sporadically, which I think is good because, he might not be JR from 98, but he still has that instinct, and he still has, he knows what to do to call a match. And so using him, I do not think he's going to be a Double or Nothing in next week, but
no.
But yeah, so hopefully he can get better. Maybe he can be at an All In Texas.
Let's see. Good old Texas. Jake Roberts has heart surgery. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so more health related news for those aging veterans. Jake Roberts announced that he had heart surgery. I forget, it's like a heart ablation surgery. I don't know, something specific. I know he has like a pacemaker in his heart, so obviously, Jake Roberts lived a long, hard life, brother. So he's
Yeah, another guy. When I was in Philly for WrestleMania last year, saw he was walking around with an oxygen tank. So, hopefully all these guys kick out and get their health, um, in line. After losing Sabu, it just really made you. And please go check out our Sabu tribute, that we did already. It just makes you think, like, man, like when you see these legends, if you're ever at a convention, or especially if you're a worker in the industry, just go up to them, shake their hand, tell them thank you for paving the way, man, because you never know when's the last time we're going to see these guys. Everything on the menu with Braun Strowman. This is a little food, what is it, dine-ins and drives type deal.
Yeah, it's a little like, food reality show type. Strange that Braun Strowman just got released from the company, and then, a week or two later, USA announces that WWE legend Braun Strowman is gonna tour the country and, eat everything on the menu. So, like you said, diners, drive-ins, and dives, whatever.
Speaking of diners, drives in and dives, were you a Guy Fieri fan back in
I'm a huge Guy Fieri fan.
the
He's a Raider fan. He's a NorCal guy.
what
Love
are
him.
your what's your favorite diners, drives in and dives that he ever did?
Well, it's
They
kind
all
of
kind
hard because there's
they all
so
kind of
many of
just
them.
yeah, they all just
But
kind of
there is
blend together.
one. I did go to one. It's like up north, kind of near Yosemite. There's a diner that he reviewed, so I went there. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I think we should do that, Brandon. We should look at these spots that he's tried. Him and Gordon Ramsay and Kitchen Nightmares. Go look at all these spots, and we'll go try any of them if they're still around.
Yeah, I mean a lot of them are because they get the rub, they get that Guy Fieri rub, and they take off.
Yeah, then that's
It's not like a bar rescue where
is Gordon Ramsay the opposite? A lot of those
well,
Kitchen Nightmares, those places are not. They don't exist anymore.
yeah, that's what I was going with the bar rescue stuff. The usually if they find them in a bad state, there's a reason, not just because they're serving bad food is the reason they're in a bad state.
Yeah. CM Punk and Cena not planned for Money in the Bank. How do we know this?
Well, this is all alleged. That's why I put not planned in quotation marks. But
Spoiler alert.
allegedly, yeah, spoiler alert. Everyone's saying, myself included, oh, it'd be so cool. Run it back one more time. Punk and Cena, Money in the Bank. But, I mean, Money in the Bank is what, in July? Or is it
No,
in
it's
June?
June.
So, yeah, it's really, it's quick turnaround. Clearly, we have Cena's on the SmackDown brand with his title. Raw has CM Punk, and he's doing his thing with Seth in the Heyman group.
He's around.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
Punk
kind
can
of,
go wherever they want.
and they are going to do a Cena Punk feud, and I think they have to. But I just think it is kind of a quick turnaround, and it's not you can't get the most out of it if you're going to do it in 1 month. So
Yeah,
like
not even
maybe
1 month, a couple weeks.
yeah, maybe you do it at SummerSlam, and you can do it there, or because SummerSlam's 2 nights now, so you need these big matches to sell out those 2 nights. If we're not gonna, who knows when Cody's coming back? If the Cody match is gonna be at SummerSlam, I don't know, but
Now, he's announced for I think the SmackDown on Friday. He was announced in whatever city they're in. Are they in like Columbus or something?
I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but
Yeah.
card is always subject to change, and maybe Cody shows up, and it's in this day and age he can't just show up for a dark match or a dark appearance because word will get out, and WWE like has to acknowledge that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't want to insult our intelligence. Remember what Vince said all those years ago?
Yep, I mean
We're gonna open the creative envelope. Well, good times, good times. All right, inside the ring, AZM wins the New Japan Strong Women's title.
or Azumi. So yeah, they had the New Japan Strong, was it Fatal or a 4-way match at the LA show that they just had last week, and so Mercedes Moné has lost one of her titles, so she is not 5 belts Monet. Now she's just 4 belts.
Well, she lost it in the
Monet.
Fatal 4 Ways. I mean, I assume she wasn't pinned.
Yeah, she did not.
Yeah.
She so she didn't lose, brother. But yeah, she did lose a title, and so one less title for her to prance around with. It did bleed into AEW a little bit because Izumi was in the Fatal 4-way match with Tony Storm. But yeah,
Timeless
so
Tony Storm.
timeless Tony Storm. We'll talk about her a little bit later in the Dynamite recap. But yeah, so some New Japan news, and we keep wondering when is Mercedes going to start dropping these titles, and the first shoe has dropped.
Not the first shoe is dropped. Oh man. Anything else inside the ring, outside before
No,
we get
I mean,
to the
Best of Super Juniors has been going on. Have not been keeping up with that.
why not?
Because I'm a terrible wrestling fan.
Oh, Brandon,
Yeah, I know.
that's supposed to
I
be your
I know. I
that
should be. I should be the New Japan guy,
what's
but
the
I
what
canceled my New Japan subscription years ago. So
that's supposed to be your bailiwick, You're supposed to be all up on that.
yeah, but now I'm the AEW guy because no one wants to watch AEW, so I'll take one for the team and I'll watch it. Um,
Wow. That's crazy. Come on, man. I don't understand. I don't understand, man. Well, tell us about Gunther and Jey Uso.
Gunther and Jey Uso did have a promo. So, Gunther coming off of his win from Backlash against Pat McAfee, Jey Uso. Uh, Jey Uso came out first, right? And Gunther interrupts him. They go back and forth a little bit, and Gunther just basically, like, I guess, spoils the finish for Saturday night's main event with Logan Paul and Jey Uso, where Gunther says, yeah, he's going to face the winner of that the Raw after Money in the Bank. So there's not gonna be a title match at Money in the Bank, and it's going to be Jay versus Gunther again because you know clearly they're building that more than they build Logan and Jay. So it was interesting to see what they do with Gunther coming out of that feud with McAfee because he showed him a little respect. He was like, okay, maybe is he turning babyface, but no, he kind of reverted back to that cocky, arrogant heel Gunther against Jay. And I think it's clear that Gunther is humble when he wins, but he's a crybaby when he loses. So there's a reason why he's treating Pat McAfee different than how he treated Jay.
Oh yeah, I mean it's simple. I kind of need Gunther to just go back to I'm the ring general, the mat is sacred, and I'm going to kill you to keep my title and get what I want. I kind of need that to happen again. This is just me. That's just me. I'm sorry. Good promo. Jay's like, I'm not in my place. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm the world champ, man. Come on now, yeet, yeet. No title match at Money in the Bank. Oh, okay. Well, so there would Cena. I'm sure Cena has to be doing something big at that one. We just got to wait and see. Cena's penciled in for that Saturday night's main event as well. So I assume the R-Truth match is gonna happen at Saturday night's main event with Cena. Then kind of have like a comedic world title match. Then you'll have a more serious one with Logan and Jay. Yeah, just kind of looking past the Raw after Money in the Bank. And was
Yeah, and alarm bells go off for that because WWE does like to do at least one, if not both, get those Money in the Bank briefcases off one of them. And so with a Gunther match against Jay, Gunther beats the piss out of Jay. Jay barely escapes by the skin of his teeth, and a heel Money in the Bank winner comes in and swoops in and cashes in on him. That's just something you got to be ready for.
It's either Braun Breaker or Karrion Kross. My God, that's winning this Money in the Bank. I'm on the Karrion Kross train. What about you?
I mean, I'm on the Scarlet train, respectively, of course.
Respectfully, yes. I mean, we remember, we remember, but Karrion Kross, I feel starting to feel like the days of old when he was a killer. As a killer, god damn it. Yeah. CM Punk has a promo on this show. Talks about how he's pissed off. He's most pissed off at himself because we've been here before. Paul Heyman stabbed him in the back before. Talked about when Paul Heyman turned on him at Money in the Bank 2013, all those years ago. And he tells Paul to get out here and yeah, come on, waddle down. And then Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker come out there, and Rollins talks about how I couldn't possibly hate you more, but I do now because you cost me the World Heavyweight Championship. You're scum, you're excrement. And then Punk says, you're not going to have the world title as long as I'm on 2 feet, as long as I'm standing basically over my dead body. Sends out Braun Breaker, and it just ends in a kerfuffle. Rollins hops into the mix. Sami Zayn comes for the save. Jey Uso comes for the save. The heels are left scurrying away. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know me, pissed off Punk, angry Punk is always the best Punk, and I thought CM Punk had a lot of stuff to chew on here with Paul Heyman, and so I thought he was fantastic in this promo. Him and Paul Heyman. Even though Paul Heyman didn't do too much, I think Punk was doing most of the talking in this feud or in this segment. Um, so I thought it was good stuff from Punk, and sets up the tag match for Saturday night's main event. I do wonder what happens with Sammy because they definitely are teasing some sort of tension, not really dissension, but
There's
more
always a
tension
plan B.
between Sammy and Punk, and clearly with Jay, Punk, and Sammy 3-on-2 because Paul Heyman's not a physical threat. It does leave you wondering: is there going to be a third person? Does Sammy turn because he gave that one look to Jay post WrestleMania after his win? I still don't think Sammy being a heel is the best
Yeah,
thing. Just
I don't see it either. I mean, like all the work that he did with the bloodline to become even probably a bigger baby face than he was in his NXT days. Like I don't see it.
Yeah, and WWE already has an issue with fans cheering heels and not getting behind baby faces, and doing that with Sammy. I mean, they already have it with the trio, the Paul Heyman trio as it is, and then you're gonna add Sami Zayn to the mix. I just don't think that's gonna help matters. It's gonna just exacerbate them. So
So I mean, well, who do they get then? Who's a heel that they can get to get actually booed? I heard Sam Roberts throw out the name Logan Paul. Do you think that would make sense with the Heyman group?
yeah, I mean, definitely would
Paul
make
Heyman
sense.
is constantly putting the guy over.
Yeah, I mean, Logan Paul, he gets heat, whether it's real heat or you know
Manufactured.
manufactured heat. Yeah, that's neither here nor there. And Paul Heyman and everyone else can talk for Logan Paul when Logan Paul is not there. So it's a good fit. Um, Karen Cross, I know he's getting over on the internet kind of as a babyface, but I think he still would work best as a heel. And you add Scarlett to the mix, so you add a female, even though she doesn't really wrestle. I don't know. That's something.
That is something. That is something. Let's talk about Becky Lynch's promo.
Yeah, Becky comes out,
And
kind
comes
of
around.
reacts to her loss to Lyra, but then also, just doesn't, she may have lost the match, but she did, beat up Lyra, and she's almost kind of said like she's bigger than the title, and she's Becky Lynch, and she lost the match, but then she didn't really like seem all that. She seemed mad that she lost, but she doesn't seem like they're really forwarding the feud with her and Lyra because Lyra didn't come out. Who knows with the nose issue if that's real or not, if she's going to be sidelined for a little bit. But it was kind of just like a standalone, typical heel promo from Becky that just kind of, gets a negative reaction, but it doesn't really like forward anything. She just kind of came out there, was a little bitchy, and that was it, and left.
I mean, well, we're gonna see what's going on with the man. Now she talked about how she was away, and friends asked her, "Did she miss it?" And like, oh no, I kind of miss it a little bit. And then Becky talked about how you guys liked me, you guys related to me until I started winning world championships, and you guys have never had any measure of success. I was like, okay, so
When we talk about a heel going after the fans, never heard that before.
I was like,
Even though
okay.
that's basically John Cena's
Somebody,
entire character.
yeah. So hold on. Somebody said that this is female Cena-esque, or is this true?
I mean, the crutch of the heel, the freshly turned heel going after the fans, I think is just an overused trope in wrestling, especially when it
Oh,
rings hollow. Because
okay.
especially with Cena and Becky, fans really like them. And yeah, Becky might not have been as hot as she was back in 2019, but fans still liked her, and I don't think there was any negative reaction to that. And then
Well,
Cena, yeah.
I well with Cena's is more. Excuse me. Cena's is more psychological. This is a man that's kind of snapped having a midlife crisis after 25 years. That's what his is. Becky, I mean, were fans like when she was the world champion last year? I mean, she said she saw it on the internet. Do you remember people like, okay, we're kind of tired of Becky? Do you remember any of that going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is like some unrest with Becky, not like as a person. I think it's more just like I mean, the heel, she should have never turned heel when she came back from her pregnancy. I think that was just a terrible miscalculation.
When did that happen?
When she came back at SummerSlam in 21 against Bianca Belair. Remember, Sasha Banks was supposed to have the match, and then
That's Well, no, that eventually worked because you got Becky to have a nice run, and then it led to Bianca dethroning her. And what was it? WrestleMania 38 in Dallas. So now that worked.
But it's like the Cena thing is like I think the best heel turns come from when a very popular babyface is starting to get some negative reactions, and so you take advantage of that. Like Hogan in '96, people were over, red and yellow, say your prayers, eat your vitamin stuff. Cena, people were kind of coming. It was almost like Hulk Hogan in 2002, where people were like nostalgia for John Cena. So we're like, okay, yeah, we might have booed him in the past, but we're all kind of back on board with Cena. So then finally, Cena turns heel this year when it should have happened in 2012, 13, whenever, when people really didn't like Cena. And then just kind of like, the heel turn doesn't mean as much as it could have. And Becky, people did like Becky back in, when she came back. And then I think and then they've turned her back face, and I think she's never recovered for that. Similar to Bayley, she had the damage control heel turn to face turn that never really worked, and she just hasn't recovered since then.
It didn't. What do you mean it didn't work?
I mean, she had the Seth Rollins treatment Bayley did, where she didn't really turn babyface character wise. She just turned babyface because the heels turned on her. They just kicked her out of the heel group.
Well, no, they kind of. I remember, Bayley was going to pick her because she won the Rumble. She was going to pick who she wanted to face, and they kind of did the Triple H Batista thing where like she overhears them talking ish about them, and then she's like, okay, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm not. I'm not really messing with them anymore. And this is how you really think of me. All right, fine. Like that's what that was. I mean, I remember like because I think I was there for when she won the title in Philly. Well, are you saying what the reign after just didn't really help her?
Yeah, I mean the Bayley babyface turn last year was not good. I mean, like, yeah, I thought the match she had with Io in WrestleMania was like probably one of the best matches of the whole show, but just character wise, people it just didn't really click, and maybe it's just her face character was too similar to her heel character, and you can't put the genie
Well,
back in
she
the bottle
couldn't
with
just
the
go back to
hugger. You
yeah,
can't
she
do
couldn't
that.
yeah, couldn't just go back to that. I mean, characters have to evolve, so
Also, her theme song does not help. That theme song she has is terrible.
I yeah, what was the when she first turned heel back in what 2020 or 2019? That theme song was nice. I feel like she could have kept that.
Her theme song, I don't know why no one else brings this up. It basically sounds like Pat McAfee's theme song. It has like the same kind of rhythm to it.
I'd have to actually
It has
listen.
like the same like humming rhythm that Pat McAfee's theme song does, and I know it because that's Pat McAfee's theme song is his theme songs to his show, and so I've heard it hundreds of times.
I'd have to really listen to these theme songs to figure that out. Let's see what else happened on this show. Dun, 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 dun. Penta defeated Chad Gable.
Yes, he did. Admirable of Chad Gable to stand up and represent El Grande Americano since Grande is doing a tour of Mexico. So unfortunately, Grande Americano was not on the show on Raw.
Defending
But,
that WWE Speed Championship
yeah,
at the
but
last AAA events.
yeah, but Chad Gable standing up for his favorite wrestler. Unfortunately, fell short to Penta. Match was fine. Pretty standard. Like around 10 minutes. And Penta, gets his heat back, brother, after losing at Backlash.
Love to see it. AEW happened.
It did happen.
Ricochet, who was at LodiCon this past weekend. Brandon, you didn't go? You didn't go meet Ricochet and Samantha?
Oh, Samantha! You didn't tell me Samantha was there. That's a whole different story. But
He wrestled Zach Gowen. Is it 2003?
yep. In the year of our Lord 2025, Zach Gowen had a match on national television, and he wrestled Ricochet. This was the Beach Break episode, so it was in Chicago. AEW announced they're going to do a residency in Chicago later on. But yeah, so
How many
Ricochet.
CM Punk chants were there?
I don't think there was. I mean, I know I kind of skimmed through some of the wrestling.
Did they censor them out?
I think they've kind of gone past the CM Punk chance. I mean, the Young Bucks did make an appearance at the end of the show, and I did not hear any.
I did see the Young Buck appearance. Wow, I see things.
But yeah. So Ricochet defeated Zach Gowen. It was a fun match. Ricochet is able to create a lot of the movement for Zach Gowen, and Gowen got a little bit in, but not too much. And Ricochet ended up getting the win. And Mark Briscoe made the save at the end when Ricochet once again tried to steal Gowen's prosthetic leg.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, Ricochet made the entrance with a prosthetic leg because that's how it all started because of a collision last week. But yeah,
Just stealing people's prosthetic limb.
yep.
That's diabolical work.
Yep, it finally happened after weeks and months of waiting and swooning. MJF finally got all three thumbs up, and he has officially joined the Hurt Syndicate. So Owen
I
Hart
saw it.
in the nation once again. MJF. I mean, clearly, I think we're supposed to suspect that the Hurt Syndicate are aware of what MJF is, and they're, one slip up and he's out immediately. And MJF, he's kind of going back to his like comedy shtick that I think he relies too much on, but at least now he's doing it as a heel. So at least there's some heat there. But yeah, finally we got that chapter over with, and we can kind of get into MJF officially being a part of the group. He has to do some sort of contract signing next week. Should go. I mean, there might be some sort of hiccup or something, but he should, sign the contract and everything should be fine. And maybe there's something happens at Double or Nothing because they're the Crew, which is Action Andretti, who beat Chris Jericho. Everyone remembers that. And Leo Rush, seemingly, I guess, are like the number one
They're the,
contenders or something, as well as Dustin Rhodes and
they're the
Sammy
new
Guevara.
kid. They're the new kids on the block.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
But
Dustin
yeah,
Rhodes and who?
Sammy Guevara, ROH Tag Team Champions.
They still have those?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I would not be shocked if it's a three-way tag team match at Double or Nothing. What will happen at Double or Nothing is Mina Shirakawa taking on Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Champion.
I heard her theme song wasn't great, so they changed it back mid-show.
So there was a four-way eliminator match, and Toni Storm has been on this tear of just winning all these different eliminator matches. And finally, she ran into a brick wall, otherwise known as Mina Shirakawa, and Mina pinned her, and that sets up the match. Like I said, Zumi was also in this match as well, and that bled into Mercedes attacking Azumi, and then Jamie Hayter made the save, and so they built, kind of two matches in one for a Double or Nothing. They built up to that. They had a segment with Nigel McGuinness, who got involved in a Daniel Garcia FTR match last week at Collision. So they are teasing, if not outright saying, we are going to get a Nigel McGuinness Daniel Garcia tag team match against FTR, probably at Double or Nothing, or maybe they have it as like a Collision like main event, because this has basically been a Collision storyline. So Nigel McGuinness going back in the ring, first match back since that Bryan Danielson match, I believe.
Yes.
So it's been a little while. So hopefully everything works out there. And, I think McGuinness, still is a fine wrestler, and, kind of use him sporadically is probably for the best. And then main event in a steel cage, Samoa Joe and Jon Moxley for the AEW World title. Jon Moxley defeated.
Beat him with the briefcase over the head.
He hit him with the briefcase, who was supplied by none other than Gabe Kidd, who has talked all sorts of trash on AEW and is feud up with Kenny Omega. But he is in AEW for now, and he seemingly has joined the Death Riders. And then a whole bunch of shenanigans happened. Willow comes out, Speedball, Okada. Basically everyone loosely associated with this Death Riders feud came out, and the cage got lowered. Cage got raised up after Swerve made his entrance and did a stomp off the top of the cage. The heels scurry away, and Swerve lays down the challenge for Anarchy in the arena. I don't know what the final count on this is, but I would assume it's like 14 or 18 people. It's a lot. I did not like write it down and kind of map it out, because you got like the core Death Riders, you have you have the Ops, you have Swerve, Speedball, Willow. So yeah, a lot of people involved here. And so that will be a match at Double or Nothing. And that was Beach Break. A lot of good wrestling. Not too many, there's some angles and stuff. And we got Collision coming up next week. And then Double or Nothing, I believe, next week. Or is it in 2 weeks? It's the 25th. I think it's next week, right? I don't know what.
I know Oasis is the 25th.
Nope. Yeah, it's next Sunday. Next Sunday, the 25th.
Yeah, that's Oasis. That's what I'm gonna be doing. Ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, if you don't got nothing to do, Sunday, San Francisco Emporium, the Emporium Tag Team Extravaganza, UGWA champion Jordan Cruz teams with former foe and friend Dave Ducher taking on Nick Xander and Brett the Threat. You also have um Mariachi Montana versus Kenny K and Midas Creed, former tag team champions. Culture Inc. will be in the business. Pacific Rampage, Death and Desire. Um, Big Baby Powder versus Dave Reckoning in a Beast of the East title match. And the main event will be a three-way tag. The winners of their respective brackets go up against SPS for the UGWA Tag Team Championships. I will be there on the call with Pollo Del Mar. It's going down, ladies and gentlemen. Doors at 5. Show starts at 6. Tickets still available. Tickets will be sold at the door. You don't want to miss it. UGWA Emporium. It's always a good time. It's the tail. It's kind of almost at the tail end of the retirement tour. So come check it out. Thank you guys so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.